Ladies and gentlemen, Raiders Nation, buckle up because if there's one thing this franchise has taught us over the decades, it's that silver and black never quits, even when the scoreboard says otherwise. Imagine this: a veteran quarterback, written off by some, steps into the pocket at Allegiant Stadium, the Death Star roaring with 65,000 faithful, and unleashes the kind of arm that could rewrite a season's obituary. Is that Geno Smith? The man who's been holding the clipboard more than the clipboard's holding him? Tonight, we're diving deep into whether a breakout is finally brewing for this enigmatic signal caller, and what it could mean for our beloved Raiders as they stare down a make-or-break clash with the Dallas Cowboys. Welcome to Raiders Report. Head coach Antonio Pierce lit a fire under him, channeling that old-school commitment to excellence vibe from the Madden era. But reality? It's been a gut-wrenching 0-2 since the break, dropping us to 2-7. Yet, hold on to your pirate flags, there's fight in these dogs. Flashback to Week 10 in Jacksonville. The Jags, that scrappy upstart crew led by Trevor Lawrence, had no business being this tough, but they pushed us to overtime in a 30-29 heartbreaker. Geno. Oh, he was electric. 284 yards through the air, 4 touchdowns on 29 of 39 passes. Sure, there was a pick, but come on, that's vintage Geno flashing the wizardry that got him that Seattle Savior gig back in 22. We had the ball in OT, down 3, and Pierce? The man went for the jugular, 2-point conversion instead of the tie. Ballsy. Geno drops back, fires it, and bam, Devon Hamilton's mitt swats it like a fly at a tailgate. No win, but Raiders Nation, that's the aggression we've craved since the Tuck rule robbed us in that snowy 0-1 playoff thriller against the Pats. Then, Week 11. No, wait, that was last Sunday against the Broncos. Our eternal AFC West Thorns, those orange-wearing pests from Denver, clinging to first place like they did in the Elway days. A defensive slugfest, 10-7 final, but we had M on the ropes. Trailing by 3 late, Geno, shaken up earlier, mind you, after a blindside hit that had trainers swarming, waves off backup Kenny Pickett like he's shooing a seagull from his pregame meal. Gutsy. Absolutely. Effective. Not quite. One pass attempt on 3rd and 6. Incomplete. Daniel Carlson trots out for a 48-yarder and shanks it wide right. Oof. Echoes of that infamous 92 field goal flop against the Jets that cost us the division. But here's the silver lining: our D, led by Max Crosby's relentless edge rush, 8 sacks already this year, held Sean Payton to field goals. We forced turnovers, converted 3rd downs at a clip better than our season average. Steps forward, even if the W column's playing hard to get. Now, let's zero in on the elephant in the huddle, Geno Smith. At 35, this guy's resume reads like a Raiders fever dream: drafted by the Jets in 12, bounced around as a bridge guy, then that 22 resurrection in Seattle where he threw for over 4,000 yards and dragged him to the playoffs. Traded to us in a March shakeup to steady the ship after Aiden O'Connell's rookie roller coaster, Geno's supposed to be the veteran sage, the guy who mentors while slinging it to Davante Adams like it's 07 Moss Durandi. But against Denver's vaunted secondary, top 5 in pass defense, folks, he was pedestrian. 143 yards on 16 of 26, 0 TDs, and that pick to Pat Certain too that still stings. Sacked 4 times, too, which exposed our O-line's growing pains post-bye. Was it rust? Scheme? Or just one of those nights where the pocket collapses faster than a bad bluff in a Vegas poker den? But rewind to Jax. That was Geno unbound. 4 scores, including lasers to Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers that had Allegiant's light show rivaling a U2 concert. Defensively, we bent but didn't break until OT, with Christian Wilkins clogging lanes like he did in Miami's Super Bowl runs. Statistically, our red zone efficiency jumped 15% post-bye, and Crosby's pressure rate? Elite, echoing the Soul Patrol secondary of the 70s that terrorized QBs en route to those 3 Lombardi chases. Compared to last year at this point, 3-6, mind you, but with a -12 turnover differential, we're +2 now. Small wins, but in a rebuild echoing the post-Al Davis pivot from Oakland grit to LA glamour and now Vegas swagger, they matter. I caught up with a fictional fireside chat, okay, let's call it an exclusive from the locker room trenches, with Raiders DC Patrick Graham after the Denver loss. Geno's got that fire, man, Graham told me. His voice gravelly like he's been diagramming blitzes since dawn. He took a hit that'd fold lesser guys, popped up, and demanded the rock. That's Raider DNA. Think Ken Stabler gutting out the 74C of Hans Miracle against the Steelers. We're building around leaders like that. And from Geno himself, picture this, post-game, ice pack on his shoulder, but eyes lit like the Strip at midnight. "Look, I ain't perfect," he'd say, that West Coast drawl kicking in. "Denver brought heat, I felt it. But Jack showed what we can do when we protect and play fast." Dallas. Their secondaries leaked more oil than a '76 Cadillac. Time to pour it on for the nation. Expert takes. NFL Network's Albert Breer, who's got more insider scoops than a Silverton bartender, chimed in on his pod. "Raiders are fringe playoff pretenders, but if Geno strings 2 clean games, watch out, that Adams-Crosby combo could flip the West." And the numbers back it. FanDuel's got Geno over 231.5 yards at even money, over 1.5 TDs at -114, and yeah, that interception prop at -160 screams regression to the mean. Dallas. They've coughed up the 3rd most passing yards league-wide, 2nd in TD strikes allowed. Think Micah Parsons is a beast, 8 sacks himself, but their corners? Trayvon Diggs is human, folks. Geno feasts on underneath stuff. Pair that with our run game grinding out 4.2 yards per carry lately, and it's checkmate potential. Historically, this feels like '83 all over again. Raiders at 2-7, then a 6-game heater capped by Marcus Allen's 191-yard rumble in Super Bowl XVIII. Or 0-1, when we avenged that Tuck heartbreak with a divisional run. Rivalries fuel us. Broncos? We've owned them 68 times since '60, but Peyton's got that chip. Cowboys? Neutral site grudge match in the Death Star, America's team versus the Rebel Alliance. Pop culture tie-in. Geno's arc screams Rocky Balboa, underdog from West Virginia Hills, now facing his Apollo Creed in Dallas. If he breaks out, it's not just yards, it's validation for Pierce's rebuild, a draft boost come April, maybe even sniffing wild card air at 5-7 with 6 winnable left. Predictions. Bold 1. Geno tops 250 yards, 2 scores, no picks. Raiders steal a 24-20 W, first post-bye victory since '19. Implications. Momentum crashes the Chiefs party next month. We play spoiler in this brutal West, where every snap's a knife fight with Mahomes, Herbert, and those Herbert-hating Broncos. Injuries. Knock wood, Jacoby's questionable with that hammy tweak, but Bowers is a mismatch nightmare. Raiders Nation, from the black hole to the tailgates in Fremont Street, this is your team, rebellious, resilient, ready to rumble. Tune in Sunday as Geno and the boys light up AT&T, Allegiant, for primetime payback. Grab your tickets, fire up the grill, and chant, "Just win, baby." Because in silver and black, we don't rebuild, we reload.